Yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy King Sanders here, and we are back with another day of sports betting. This is going to be for Thursday, April 14th slate of MLB games. We unfortunately don't have any NBA on, but we did just finish up the play-in tournament, or at least the first round of it, and we had some really great basketball games, truly. I just got done watching the San Antonio Spurs and the New Orleans Pelicans game, and it was a really great game. Truly, it was. I know that the Pelicans, they were up pretty big. They were up by like 20 or something, and then they actually ended up blowing that lead, and the Spurs were only down by 6 at one point. So it was actually a really crazy sequence of events. The Spurs started to get hot, and I do think that hurt one of our bets just a little bit, but we'll go ahead and talk about that here in just a minute. But first things first, I did just want to go ahead and say at the time of recording this video, we are on the road to 7,000 subscribers. So if you guys are new, make sure you guys do like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Next, I did just want to go ahead and give a quick shout out here to our members here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys do, and thank you guys so much for giving such a small channel such a big chance, as I always say. It truly does mean so much to me. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do a quick recap as of yesterday. Unfortunately, we did lose all of our NBA plays. We only had 2 of them, but we did lose all of them. And we'll go ahead and talk about each individual one. So first things first, we did have LaMelo over 8.5 assists here versus Atlanta. There's a couple things that had kind of happened here. First things first, the Charlotte Hornets, they shot awful. They were not a very good field goal percentage team in this game. They had very hard time scoring the basketball, and so I definitely think that played part of it. But 2, this game was a blowout. Charlotte was down by like 20 for most of the second half, and unfortunately, I think that LaMelo and the Hornets kind of gave up when it came to that fourth quarter. Obviously, we saw the Miles Bridges ejection, and I don't know. I just think after that, the Hornets just decided not to really play basketball, and it looks like LaMelo, we should have taken his PRA line instead. And he did have a pretty good stat line overall. It was just his assists weren't really there. He was looking to score the ball a little bit more. He finished with 7, and he also had one of his assists taken away from him. At one point, they replayed it like 3 or 4 plays later, and I guess Terry Rozier stepped on the out-of-bounds line, so they took the three-pointer and the assist away. So that would have brought us and finished us right on the hook, but it is what it is. Then we had Brandon Ingram, under 24.5 points. Dude was on another level. He was absolutely scoring left and right. Brandon Ingram, I am so sorry for taking your under, but he was on a mission. He really couldn't miss. The only thing that was giving me hope was he did have 4 fouls in like the middle of the third. So I was thinking, because at that point the Spurs were down by like 20, and so I was like, okay, maybe there's a chance where, since he is in foul trouble and the game is kind of out of hand, maybe there's a chance we don't see him much in the fourth quarter. Well, then the Spurs decided to march right back, and he played the entire fourth quarter. So it is what it is, but we did end up losing that one as well. Then we took the Guardians money line here versus the Reds at plus 110. That one did end up working out for us. So that was a pretty big win. We always love a good plus value win. So that one ended up working out for us. So 1 and 2 on the day. But both of my leans hit. If you guys were listening to my leans from yesterday, I took both of the favorites and their spreads, and they both cashed. So it is what it is, but we ended up having a 1 and 2 day. We'll bounce back for sure. Today's going to be the day. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling good. I researched a lot of extra time for these plays, so I'm ready to hop into it. So first things first, we're going to be taking the Cardinals money line here versus the Brewers at plus 130 odds. Now, if you look at things from the Brewers side of things, they are going to be pitching Brandon Woodruff. Brandon Woodruff has a 3.2 ERA versus the Cards, so it's not like he has been elite, but it's not like he's been awful either. So, but the thing that really kind of stood out to me was this year specifically, Brandon, he has had a 7 ERA on the year. He did give that up to the Chicago Cubs. So I think that, he did struggle a little bit earlier on this year, so we'll see if he can bounce back today, but I'm going to be taking advantage of it. I think that the reason why this line is in plus value is mostly just because it is the Brewers home opener, so if you did want to go ahead and fade me on one of my picks, I do think this one would be the one to fade me on. But from the flip side of things, for the Cardinals, Adam Wainwright versus the Brewers has actually been really solid. He has a 2.6 ERA here versus the Brewers just overall. And the Cardinals, they started out this year pretty hot. They're 3-1 to start off the year, and the Brewers, on the flip side of things, they're 2-4. So they are still trying to put the pieces together. They have had a little bit of a tougher schedule, but I still think that the Cardinals can get it done here. I think that the Brewers just need a little bit more time to gel. And in their last 7 matchups between these two teams, the Cardinals have actually won in 6 of their last 7. So I think that the Cardinals do have a little bit of an advantage here. Historically, they've kind of had their number, to say the least. So we're going to be riding with it. Cardinals money line here versus Brewers at plus 130 odds. Now, our second play of the day, we're going to be taking the Oakland A's and the Tampa Bay Rays over 8 runs at minus 110 odds. Now, Cole Irvin, he does have a 4.79 ERA just overall for his entire career. But this year specifically, he hasn't been as great. He has a 6.75 ERA, so that's a little bit higher. So I do expect to see some more runs. And Josh Fleming, on the flip side of things, he does have a 4.44 ERA over the course of his career. So, between the two things, I do think that we could be seeing a lot of runs here. I think that does kind of set it up for a lot of runs. And in this series alone, they have gone over in 3 of the 4 games. They've only gone under in 1 of them. So I think that we do see another representation of that. I do think that we should see a high volume of bats. I do think we should see a high volume of walks. I think we should see just a lot of scoring, basically. I think that this line should be 9. Then I would definitely reconsider it, but I think that they can get it done in this one. I think I'm projecting around like a 6-4 game. I think it should be like in the double digits. So I really like that play. We're going to be taking the A's and the Rays over 8 runs at minus 110 odds. And then our third and final play of the day, like I said, really quick, I'm just going to throw this in there. I may be adding a play. There was a couple games that I was looking at. None of them were in the early slate, so don't worry about it if you are checking this after like the games start. None of them were in the early game. There were some in some of the later games that I liked that I may add as official plays, but I haven't really decided yet. But make sure that you guys are following me on Twitter so you guys do see those, and check the pinned comment section just before the game start so you guys can take a look at it and see if I do add any of their plays. But let's go ahead and dive into our last play. We're going to be taking the Cubs on the run line in the first 5 versus the Rockies at minus 125 odds. Now, Kyle Freeland, versus the Dodgers earlier in his only other start. Kyle Freeland, he did give up 5 runs in the first 5 innings versus the Dodgers. Now, I know that the Dodgers are a very high-powered offense, definitely not nearly as much, but on the flip side of things, Justin Steele versus Milwaukee, his only other game that he did pitch here for the Cubs, he did give up 0 runs in the first 5 innings. So I think we see a little bit of value there. Justin Steele earlier in the year, he did play really well in the first 5 innings that he did pitch. And Kyle Freeland, on the other hand, he did give up 5 alone in his first 5 innings. So hopefully we can see more of the same here. And the Cubs, in their first 5 innings, they're actually 4-0 to the run line. So they've actually been really solid here in their first 5 games, or in their first 5 innings, of these games. They are 4-0. So, I mean, they've definitely proved that they're a pretty solid team. And in those first 5 innings, they really get things done. Now, the Rockies, on the other hand, it's not like they've been bad in the first 5 innings. They are just 3-2, though. So they have, let just a couple slip. But the Cubs, like I said, 4-0 to the run line, so I really like it. And in their last game between these two teams, the Cubs did end up winning the first 5 innings 5-2. So I think we see a little bit of value there for the Cubs, so we're going to be riding with it. We're going to be taking the Cubs plus 0.5, or plus a half, however you want to word it, in the first 5 innings versus the Rockies at minus 125 odds. So that is going to do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Like I said, we're on the road to 7,000, so make sure you guys are subbed if you guys are new. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. This is King Sarah signing out. Peace.